So now you have Shiva image and Parvati image, one with a bull, one with a cow. But nobody seems to be starving. Nobody's eating anybody, nobody's starving anybody. So what's going on Mount Kailash? And Vishnu is living in a society which is trying, and what is he trying to do? He's like Shiva saying, come inside. Come inside. Now the difference between Shiva telling them to come inside and Vishnu coming them to, Shiva is saying, you don't have to change, come. I'm not giving you any rules, you just come. Vishnu is also saying, come inside. Come inside, but he's aware of the struggle that human beings have to include. And that's what Ramayana and Mahabharata is saying, how difficult it is to include in society. The idea of inclusion is extremely difficult. Therefore, Vaikuntha escapes us because we are not willing to feed others. And Kailash escapes us because we have not overgrown our own hunger. Let's look at Buddhism and Jainism first. So let's do an Instagram video. If I want to show you Jainism, I will show you a sage, a male sage, who is wearing no clothes and he's either meditating or he's standing straight. Is always perfectly symmetrical. It's a perfectly symmetrical image. Jainism believes that the more you consume, you'll go to hell. So these sages are giving up all forms of consumption. So they actually, some of the Jain sages in the old days would fast to death. It's called Sallekhana. So they've rejected food itself. It's not, people confuse vegetarian, like Jainism is about vegetarian food because it's ahimsa, but that's not true. Ahimsa is eating no food at all. That's true ahimsa, no food at all. And therefore the great Jain sages of ancient times would fast to death. They would prepare themselves, how do I take less food, less food, less food, to the point of fast to death. Now that's Jainism, which is saying that I don't want to consume at all. Then you see Buddhist images. Now you see the Buddha's images. He's never naked. He's always wearing a robe. It's always male images again. It's only a male image that you see. He's wearing a robe. He's sort of tempering it and saying, Acha, you can't be that extreme. You have to consume. But in moderation is what he's talking about. But he's restraining himself from society and basically saying consumption is bad. So consumption is bad, but so minimize the consumption, and that's what Buddhism comes from. It's about minimize the consumption. Now you look at the image of Shiva and Parvati. And what do you find in Shiva and Parvati? You find suddenly husband and wife, which is the opposite of a Buddha image. A woman finally appears in the religious space. Right? Till now there was no religion. Where were the women in Jain image? No. Buddhist image? No. They're the prominent. You're not worshipping a woman. They're there. They may be there in the side like some guardian goddesses or something. But suddenly in Shaivism, you have two equal parts. Now if you look at the image carefully, Shiva has a bull. What do bulls eat?
Vegetarian food.
Yeah.
Mostly grass and
grass and weeds. But he lives on Mount Kailash, and mountain is made of stone covered with snow. Where is the grass there?
Very paradoxical.
Right? Now the goddess has a tiger. What does the tiger eat?
Meat.
Who's the easiest available meat?
The bull.
Exactly. So now you have Shiva image and Parvati image, one with a bull, one with a cow. But nobody seems to be starving. Nobody's eating anybody, nobody's starving anybody. So what's going on Mount Kailash? It's a place where you are happy and content and there is no hunger. You're not hungry for anything. So you live with each other. There's no hunger whatsoever. Now what do you do with your life? You talk to other people who are hungry and help them get out of hunger. Hey, come, let's teach you how to become. So Shiva and Parvati now come down to earth and are participating, helping you engage with the world. So now they're including everybody. So you have ghosts and dead people. Because why dead people? Because rebirth is going to happen in the dead person. Well, where does rebirth happen? Rebirth happens in the crematorium. It reminds you somebody is dead, which also means a portal to a new life. So it is a portal to the end of your life and the portal to the beginning of another life. And therefore the images of the crematorium becomes important. It marks death and rebirth. Now you have, so that's third picture go. Now let's look at the fourth picture. Now you have Vishnu sitting over there. He's wearing gold, he's silver, he's got flowers in his hair and beautiful jewelry. Who is excluded? Tell me.
Again, people who are from lower communities, someone who can't afford material.
Exactly. Those who are, you don't see the ghosts, you don't see the macabre things, you see all beautiful
anything
things.
Who's aesthetically not good looking.
Which is not aesthetically pleasing is out. So exclusion has started. So now you've come up with a society. And Vishnu is living in a society which is trying, and what is he trying to do? He's like Shiva saying, come inside. come inside. Now the difference between Shiva telling them to come inside and Vishnu coming them to, Shiva is saying you don't have to change, come. I'm not giving you any rules, you just come. Vishnu is also saying come inside. Come inside, but he's aware of the struggle that human beings have to include. And that's what Ramayana and Mahabharata is saying, how difficult it is to include in society. The idea of inclusion is extremely difficult. And people become very cruel. So you have Lakshman Rekha as a concept. You have got the Kurukshetra as a concept. Battles over property, battles over wealth. And then you see Ram is the prince, Krishna is the cowherd. You're seeing a class divide. So you see a very different world where God is saying, you know what, you have to be content, you have to include. The struggles of inclusion is coming, where what Vishnu is saying that why don't you feed each other? Let's feed each other, then we will create Vaikunt. But he knows that people won't feed each other because they'll say, I'll only, if I'm vegetarian, I'll feed you vegetarian food. And the person in front is saying, but but I'm non-vegetarian, I want meat. Give me meat. And he's like, no, I can't give you meat. And that is what is creating the conflict. That is the world we live in. Therefore, Vaikunt escapes us because we are not willing to feed others. And Kailash escapes us because we have not overgrown our own hunger. And we are not like Buddha. We are not restraining ourselves. And we are definitely not stopping consumptions like the Jain saints. So suddenly that's Sanatan. So Sanatan really will, if you ask me the key words for Sanatan, it's rebirth, it's food, and the one who eats and the one who, and the third one is purity. If these three words you understand, you sort of get into the Sanatan zone.